Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I'm coming to my students. So, I want to talk about a couple of things in getting prepared and prepped for the certification exam. And to those of you who may be listening to this and are thinking about your certification, I want to give you a few key steps on how to prepare. But this is mainly for my students because I want them to start understanding what they need to know about certifications. So here we go. The first screen that you're looking at is pretty much a test bank of where you are testing your skills to see what you know about a course that you were already in. So how it works is you take a course, and then after that course, we prepare you to take another course to get you ready for certification. And of course, this course that you are in is called IT Certification Preparations. So now that you're in this course, you can see the many type of disciplines that individuals are working towards a certification, whether it's Cisco CyberOps, Network Plus, Security Plus, and CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. Now, what's important here? I'm going to focus on CyberOps because that's what most of the students are at, but what I say for CyberOps apply to everything else. I can see everything you doing. Trust me, I done had a few students come into my office hours and meet with me, and they see that I can see everything that they're doing, everything that you do. So I'm gonna give you some hints about what you should be doing if you're not already doing them. So when I need to see what you're doing, I go into here, and then I simply got some tools to my disposal where I can see everything. And I click on those tools, and that gives me a chance to track every little thing you do. From the time you go in, the questions you miss, how long it takes you, everything, how many days you do it. So I'm going to stop right here and say this. If you are not taking these test questions or practice tests at least 3 times a day. I told 2 students today, when you get up in the morning, sit for your exam, meaning do a practice test. In the afternoon, after lunch or before lunch, do a practice test. Before you go to bed, do a practice test. And stick with the practice test until you get 100 percentile. Now, I'm telling some students 90 to 100 percentile, but I like if you get every question correct, but you need to do it at least 3 times a day. And how many days in a week? 7 days a week. Remember, you want to ace your certification exam. None of us really ace it, so don't even worry about that. But you want to go into it really strong. Now, this is dealing with the portal that we're using for the test questions. And it could be any test questions you purchase out there and you're using. Just make sure you understand the material and that you are really maximizing your time with those test questions. And I'm gonna be honest with you, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, that's not even enough. But I know you can handle it. Do it, people. Now, let's talk about the test questions. So let's say you got a portal of questions. Now, in this particular question, you read the question and then you have multiple choices. Now, the questions will be in different types of formats. I'll show you the different formats as we go on, but let's just focus on this particular format here. You got several choices here. The way you really know that you understand this question is not that you get it right, it's that you understand every option in here. Meaning, I know what NAT does. I know what encapsulation does. So when I choose the correct answer, I know what these other ones do. So if you take in the test questions and you don't understand these other ones, even if you get it right, that's to a disadvantage for you. Make sure you understand what each and every option is about, what they use it for, etc., etc., etc. Make sure you understand that. So when you do make a choice, you know without a shadow of a doubt, you made the correct choice. And that's for any question. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to eventually pull you in on a meeting, and I'm going to give you a test from my questions. And if you can answer the questions in the actual test bank that you do and get them correct, you shouldn't have a problem with mine. And if you do have a problem, it's going to pretty much boil down to you're not studying correctly. Know what each and every one of these do, mean, understand them. Do, mean, understand them. Maybe I'll make that a phrase one day. But you don't just read the question and you get the correct answer. You read the question and you know you had a correct answer because you know the other choices and what they do. If you don't understand that, meet with me so we can talk about it in depth. So that takes care of the test question. Now let's go back to the website. Okay, so we're back. Now, people, know this. I know how many times you're taking the test. I know when you're taking the test. I see what you're doing. So when we get to the testing day, there will be no excuses. I know what you are doing. And if you want to talk to a few other students or you want me to show it, just meet with me in my office hours and I will show you everything I see. Now, another thing that's important, and I had this conversation with a couple of students, you should know your test. I cannot know your test for you. You have to put in the work to understand your test. And why is that important? Because you never know what may happen in the midst of your test. As you can see here, this here is Cisco CyberOps, and it has a lot of stuff in here. But do you know they are finna change this test? Come November, the test will change. But if you don't know that, you'll prepare for a test, and then the change will happen, and guess what? You're going to a test blind. So when you do your research, you should thoroughly research when the test will be offered, how long you are having the test, how many questions on the test, are they about to update the test? You need to know all of that. And one of the things that I pointed out to students is this. In here, you can actually download a lot of material to where this will help you with your particular test. I have students where I say, what are your domains? They do not know their domains. How is that possible? These are your domains right here, people. A domain is in a testing sense. I'm not talking about in the studying or the class information, but when you're taking your test, your domains are the important subjects that you will cover. And as you can see, when I click on here, when it comes to security concepts, you need to know all of these things in here. So what would you do? You will download this, and to make sure you know it, you will write something on it. This is important, people. Know your domains. Know the subjects within your domains. You should have this and be working through it to make sure you understand everything in there. But this is on you. Like I told a student today, I can't want this more than you. This is for you. Now, I am going to send you some domains for pretty much everybody. So when you get this video log, you'll get that. But for my CompTIA students, if you want some extra assistance for the CompTIA students and Cisco CyberOps people, you know you got a whole lot of assistance. So don't email me talking about why you didn't get no assistance from me, Professor. Don't do that. Don't be that person. But for my CompTIA, Professor Missler is one of the best people out there in the industry. I highly recommend him. If you go to here, you'll see courses that he's built out. As you can see right here, you got Security Plus, you got Network Plus. He has a playlist on all type of stuff. And one of the reasons I like this guy is because he do one important thing. He thoroughly walk you through the test, how to pass your blah, 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 whatever the test may be. He's been doing this for years and he's really good at it. So for my CompTIA people, when you get up and you take your first practice test, go look at one of his videos. When lunchtime come around, you take your second practice test. Go look at one of his videos. Make this a habit. Now I'm finna hit home to you, and I need you to pay attention to this. Many years ago, when I first started taking my certification exams, a professor said something that was extremely important to me. He said, you have to put blinders on. He said, if you ever notice when a horse is connected to a lot of other horses and they pull in a wagon, if you notice, they got blinders on those horses. Why do you think they do that? I really didn't know at that time. I was a young man. Well, they put the blinders on so the horse can stay focused on what's in front of him or her, whichever one it may be. But what's in front of them. And that's what you have to do. You have to put blinders on and stay focused. That means I'm not going out with my friends when I'm getting ready for a certification test. I'm not going out to dinner with my family when I'm getting ready for a certification test. I am not going to hang out and kick it and all that. I am literally putting myself in a bubble. I let my family members know that, hey, I'm studying for a certification test. I cannot be bothered. And my family members respect me so much. They know dinner time, I'm going to sit, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to go right back to my test. They know that they can't come bringing foolishness to me while I'm focusing on that test because they know how important that test is. So you have to do those things. But if you hanging around doing this, yeah, you got a job. You got to go to work. Go to work. You got classes. Go do your classes. But come back and focus on your certification. The people who pass certification tests are people who take focusing serious. And you will hear us say this all the time. Level up. This is when you level up. You bring your A game. You don't sit around with your friends and just chit chat and talk about your feelings and what's going on in your life. You ain't out dating. You at home focusing. Now, I'm not saying you gonna do like us who are certified, but I'm giving you nuggets, little hints, little tips that can help you in your certification move. I know that all of you will pass this certification if you take it extremely serious, but it's up to you. I'm going to say this again. I cannot want this more than you. You have to want it. So when you ask me questions, I'm going to throw that question back to you. What do you think it should be? Where do you find that information? This is your certification. Level up. This is Professor Sistrunk. I'm going to keep these videos short. I'll see you in the next one.